With great power comes great responsibility. These words have echoed throughout all the Spider-Man media, from comics, cartoons, movies, and even video games. And yet across the Spider-Verse, the multiversal stakes of that responsibility become the main premise. With many different art styles and approved by the Comics Code Authority, Across the Spider-Verse takes us into an action-packed, emotional thrill ride. And today, that's what we're here to discuss. Joined by Nerdsquatch and Denise from Monday Cinema Club, we're going to nerd out about this film. So, load your web shooters, set your multiversal watches, because Season 4, Episode 13, a Webtastic yet spotty Spider-Verse review, starts right after this. Please stand by.
Harlequin here, and you're tuned in
No,
to the
Harley, that's my line. You're tuned in to the Bear and Beard podcast. Enjoy the show.
It's like they're lining up.
Well, they're excited.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Bear and the Beard podcast. Today we are here to talk about Spiderverse. Bear is not with us today. He is at con and he has not seen this movie yet. So today you will be with me, Jay, and Denise from Monday Cinema Club. And we have all seen and loved this movie, but we haven't really discussed it between the three of us at all. So we don't actually know each other's thoughts. So we will get into that. How are you guys doing today?
I just want to say, I think we vaguely know each other's thoughts, aka we loved it.
Right.
So,
I think by Jay's name, Hobie Brown, we all are probably Hobie Brown simps.
Very much so. Yep. Very much so.
Yep.
Yes. I am doing good, though. I'm doing good, hanging out. It's summertime now, so just excited for summer to be here and excited to chat with you guys. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in the flesh for a while now. So
it's been since Pensacon. Pensacon's been too far away. But I absolutely freaking loved this movie, and I didn't even know what to expect going in. Like, I knew we were going to go into the multiverse, but I really feel like the music is the first thing we should talk about with this movie, because off the bat, like,
let's go.
We didn't have like a whole lot of dialogue right at the beginning, other than Gwen doing her rock solo thing, which was awesome, by the way.
I loved all of her world's art. It was just very like watercolory, bleeding into each other. Oh, it was so beautiful. I loved it.
The comic book, the Spider-Gwen comic, I cannot name the artist right now, but it's lifted right off of the page. I mean, it is insane.
I love that.
My only issue with the first 15 minutes is the audio. I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing I did, but they had to put out a whole spiel about how the first 15 minutes is quiet as heck. And so the directors were like, "We are so sorry. It was an audio mixing issue, and we're trying to get it fixed." I was like, "Wow, okay." So it wasn't. And my theater usually has issues, so I was like,
"Yeah,
me, nope."
Wow,
it sounded good at it sounded good at my theater, but I do remember hearing that. Yeah,
yep. Yeah, it was crazy.
And that's kind of a bummer, because that intro song, like, it comes back in the end too, when they're culminating everyone's like little themes. And so not hearing that perfectly the first time you go into the theater, that's got to be a bummer. My heart goes out to all those people.
I didn't even realize, but I was kind of wondering like why it was so quiet in the beginning. I was like, but it did end up fixing itself after a while, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Jay, you just...
I was just glad that I got to hear when Peter turns back into Peter from the lizard, and he says, "I just wanted to be special like you," which is word for word what he says to her from that same story. I was like, these people know. We know from the first one they knew what they were doing, but this movie is so much fan service in a way unlike No Way Home. I feel like No Way Home's fan service got a little overhanded at times, but this one, the fact that it's got so many spider people in it and I didn't feel the same way, I was kind of like, I can appreciate this. But yeah, and then I feel the Flash did it better too, but that's for another video.
I have yet to see The Flash. I am very excited though because I've heard very good things, and I've heard some people say that it's not worth seeing in theaters, but I don't believe that. I
don't agree with that statement.
A lot of people, I think this movie got a lot of flack because of the soundtrack, though, and how a lot of people said that, a lot of bangers weren't really bangers. Like, obviously from the first Spider-Man, you have Sunflower, Post Malone, but I really feel like the soundtrack kind of carried and flowed the movie so well. Like, it's almost integrated into the movie, and I didn't really see that so much with the first one. And not saying that it was bad or anything, but this is just, I love how these two movies are very different from each other, just like a certain Star Wars trilogy. I have been saying that this is like the Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy. I don't know. What do you guys feel?
Brian, you want to take first, and I'll follow up?
I'm really not sure the parallels for that, but I'm sure I would agree.
I'm just saying more along the lines of this is carrying the story like Empire Strikes Back did. I mean, if you look at A New Hope, it's a great standalone movie. Same with the first Spider-Man, but this just carries the story along so much better. And to end it with this trilogy beyond the Spider-Verse, I think this will be one of the best trilogies to ever come out.
Absolutely. And it's really sad. I was talking to I can't remember who it was. I was asking them if they were going to see Spider-Verse. Oh, it was the comic seller, Steve, with the comic seller here in Nebraska. He sells comic books, and I was going to ask him if he was interested in seeing it. He's like, well, I heard good things, but it's a cartoon. I was like, it's not a cartoon though. Like it is animated, but there is so many different animation styles. I would honestly literally define this as a comic book movie. And I know every movie that has to do with comic book characters is a comic book movie, but this is a comic book like style movie, same as the first one. And I do feel like the first one was more geared towards kids in some ways, so maybe that's why some people are interested in it. This one had some adult themes, like not adult themes like inappropriate, but like emotional stakes
heavy.
That kids wouldn't get from it.
Stakes are much more elevated.
Very heavy as well at times. I love that, and I really don't like when people say, kind of like play it off like animation's just some bullshit. Because it's not. This movie literally is the truth in that it can be so stylized and so beautiful and have so many different aspects that a lot of reality movies, like these Marvel movies, just can't grasp as well. These comics are made to be comics and made to be animation. Like, this is just comics, just like bled beautifully into a movie style. I can't say enough good things about this freaking movie, man.
Well, and when we got to what's the name of the headquarters? Is it just the Spider-Verse headquarters?
Spider-Verse headquarters, Spider-Man headquarters, maybe.
Was it Citadel? Spider Society Citadel? Maybe?
Oh, Spider Society. Yeah,
Spider Society, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you're there and you're seeing all the different Spider-Men, you see other versions of animation styles clashing with other animation styles, and it still all looks like it syncs together. Like,
yes, absolutely.
When I can't remember who it was, maybe it was the director or one of the writers, said that after the third one, this is done. Like, this is just a trilogy because they're exhausted, and I don't blame them. I can't even imagine the amount of work that went into putting this together.
Okay, and you're talking about all the different animation styles. Then there was a live action character.
Yes. So, well, not just we had little clips of the other Spider-Man that we know, but of course, I imagine you're referring to this.
Bring it out. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I hope that means that we're actually going to see him like suit up in the MCU, maybe.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The next trilogy is going to be street level. It only makes sense that Prowl. I mean, if Kingpin is going to be the baddie, if that's really what they're going with, I would do Prowler in a heartbeat.
And so here's my other thing as well, fellas. So I am not in the Marvel verse like you guys are. I don't know much of the Spider-Man lore or anything, but I would love to get your inside kind of view on what's going to happen next in this specific like Miles Morales. But like, don't spoil it too much.
I think this movie was a mislead. I think Miguel's whole like idea that this is what the Spider-Verse is wrong. And I've also heard some theories that maybe we shouldn't trust Lila, the AI. I don't know.
Ooh.
Some people think Lila's a little sus. But I don't. So
I mean,
I watched.
Ultron can travel.
Go ahead.
What's that? I was saying that Infinity Ultron from What If can travel the multiverse. I wouldn't be surprised if he could hack into an AI. I mean,
and
that.
And this movie also references like Doctor Strange a whole bunch too, which, like I said, I'm not really too deep into the Marvel things, but I know a lot of references are there that I'm not really getting. But I love this movie because I don't need to get them to like the movie, which I'm about, which unfortunately Marvel sometimes it gets too ahead of itself and you need to know A before you can get to Z. Which is fine, but I also want these standalone movies to be standalone movies. I don't know, they're their own thing, but I'm very interested to see what you guys like kind of know about the Miles Morales universe and like all of this stuff that's happening.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't want to step on your toe. I'm sorry, I don't want to step over you or anything. Two things that I think that from the ending specifically, which by the way, holy crap, I love the ending of this movie. A lot of people do not like it, but if you because they I've heard a lot of people not like it. And
my mouth was dropped for about 5 minutes afterwards. I was like,
yeah.
And the reason,
I had chills.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, and the reason that I've seen is that so many people, because they quit marketing this as a part 1 and a part 2, that many people just didn't know that it was going to have a part 2. Because they retitled them from Across Part 1 and Across Part 2 from Across and Beyond. And so everybody was like, we weren't expecting it to end so abruptly, but what I'm thinking this is everybody thinks, Prowler Miles instantly means he's a villain. But we hear J. Jonah Jameson on the TV talk about the Sinister Six cartel, whoever they are. So I'm wondering if this Miles is a dark, grim anti-hero who's fighting against them the only way he can because he's not Spider-Man. So maybe he's not as evil as we are led to believe. Maybe he's more of a just to do what I have to do kind of,
Trying to support his mom and...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I also kind of, because his mom, I didn't get any inclination from that scene that he was like the leader of some gang like Aaron was. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't get that vibe. Another thing I've seen is, do you know about the Inheritors, Brian?
No.
Okay, so in the Spider-Verse comic that this, is loosely based upon, the villains are the Inheritors, and they're multiversal vampires who travel the multiverse, consuming as many spider people as they can. And
is this what the Spot is?
No, I'm actually thinking Miguel is a secret inheritor because we saw his fangs. I think he is in the comics, but I think they're going to twist it and say that he's actually one of the inheritors, and that's why he's gathered them all to one place.
See, I think Miguel is being misled somewhere because you see Miguel in the end credit scene of the first movie, And he seems a lot more like lighthearted, and he's still. We know it's the same Miguel because he's got Lila, the AI.
Right.
It's him right about to start traveling the multiverse, and then I think the weight of this pressure is what's causing him to be so dark, and he's lost his sight, and he needs someone like Miles, who's on the outside, to show him your narrow-mindedness is causing you to be the villain. Like Miles asked the question, aren't we supposed to be the good guys? And he had to almost like...
Love that.
Miguel had to say, we are. Like, you wouldn't have to say that if you didn't have to emphasize it.
Mm-hmm. He's questioning his own word. Exactly.
And so I don't think that he's the villain. I think his strings are being pulled from somewhere behind. And he's being manipulated.
And we know that they're going to have to take care of the Spot because now he is a threat, like a multiversal threat.
And so let's back up a little bit. So who is the Spot in this universe as well? Because he didn't really come out of nowhere, but I, as a person who's not really so much into it, like Jay is, and like the Beard is, fill me in, guys. Fill me in on this because this is a bitchin' character.
I don't know a lot about the Spot. I do. There's a lot of like memories that are kind of in my brain from the animated show. I know the Spot was a villain there, but he actually had a machine that created the Spots. It wasn't like a part of him.
Right.
I watched a ton of stuff in preparation for this. So, he in the comics, just like in the movie, it's his skin. It's not a machine. It's not a suit. It is his skin. And just like in the movie, he worked for Kingpin when a machine that in the comics was used for something else, but in the movies, of course, was to get Vanessa and Richard back. In the comics, it's the same thing. The accelerator blows up, and it gives him all.
Right.
But what I love in the movie, of course, is the connection that he is the scientist that gets hit with the bagel.
Yeah.
In the first one. I thought that was great because it's so
good.
It's hidden so far in the background, blink and you miss it, and then he brings it back, and I was like, there is no way I'm watching this unfold right now. I love things that you have to realize, oh shit, that was planted a year ago, 2 years ago, and Secret Invasion, I've got a big old... If you're watching that, D, are you watching Secret Invasion?
I am not. But hey, I am all about... Listen, guys, I want to be in this universe so bad, but I just hate how overwhelming it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, this is why I really love these movies like Across the Spiderverse and stuff, because it does give me like a taste of, this could be cool.
Well, that's what I love about a lot of people hate the Sony having their own cinematic universe. But what I love about it is that people who don't like all of the Marvel characters, because let's be real, the one Marvel character that is the most recognizable ever is Spider-Man. Ever. So more people like just Peter. It's brilliant to have a cinematic universe centered solely around him. The only problem is those live-action movies do not have a Spider-Man, like Venom and Morbius and these other ones. Now, if they could do that and give them one, I think that's perfect for people who just want Spider-Man stuff and don't want to delve into how he fits into everything else. And I've been working with other people to make like only the essentials of the MCU. So to watch all of it. There's got to be a way to just do like Captain, Iron Man. So you don't need all of them. Thor: The Dark World. The last time I rewatched the MCU, I rewatched it without Thor: The Dark World and Incredible Hulk, and you get the
Thor: The Dark World bores me.
It doesn't do anything at all. I'm sorry, but we're talking about
right.
But it's all part Marvel. Yeah.
I absolutely love that, and I didn't know, Jay, that Sony was trying to do that with Spider-Man. So I'm actually really grateful that you brought that up because I think that's amazing. The one thing I saw recently, I wanted to watch the what's his
Craven?
name? Tom Holland, Spider-Man. And I wanted to do the first one, great movie, whatever, sure. Second one was okay too, but then all of a sudden we're getting into multiverse stuff and the blip, and all these things are happening. I had to watch like a 15-minute YouTube thing to prepare myself for like the third one, because I was like, I am just missing so much, and who are these people and what's happening over here? But I love Across the Spider-Verse because I feel like I am in this, and I love that it's going to be a trilogy, because I feel like some things don't need to have 7 million things to follow.
Mm-hmm. No. And the nice thing about this movie is, although it does follow up from Into the Spider-Verse,
right,
it recaps Miles' story. You'll miss a few things, but you can watch this movie independently of Into the Spider-Verse.
I didn't watch it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it before.
And even the spider peoples that we saw in the first movie that have returned, the only ones that really returned was Peter B. Parker and Spider-Gwen. The other ones returned like as images in the back, but their voice actors didn't return.
Right, and then they show up at the end, which of course inclines me to believe that they will be in the third one. And
right,
is coming back.
I need more Spider-Man noir.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Also, Amazon.com, Jeff Bezos. I know I've said a lot of really insensitive things about billionaires in the past week, but please listen to me. Please cast Nick Cage in your TV show, because they're making a Spider Noir TV show.
Will it be animated?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a black and white television show. Like a noir Spider-Man.
I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested.
The vulture eats Uncle Ben. I'm done.
So sorry. I'm just now remembering the first kind of fight scene we get with Across the Spider-Verse with that one character that was from like Renaissance almost. Like it was like a Renaissance.
Yes, Spider-Woman was fighting him. Yes, I actually have vulture
in the movie.
Renaissance vulture. Yeah.
And I hate to be, I'm not going to be this guy, and this doesn't mean anything, but I went to art school. So, I am living during this first scene where everything out of their mouths is a joke about modern art. I was like,
seriously, I loved that. Just again, that first scene of them just fighting and all of the different animations that are coming together was just like
so funny. If you get how the movie is about art mixing, their lines are brilliant. The writing in that opening scene is so good.
1,000%.
And also the different fighting styles between the different spider peoples. Like Spider-Woman, she has like individual webs like coming out. I'm like, that is so cool. And then she uses the bike and like, I loved it. I loved it.
No. We got to talk about my boy from, was it India?
Oh yeah,
we got to talk about his fighting style is the most unique out of all of them. Beautiful. I loved it.
The whole world, the art style of his entire universe. I was like, this is gorgeous. Yep.
This is just making me want to see this again so bad already.
If my theater was still playing it, I would go see it again.
I don't think mine is either. I do wish we went to Hobie's World. I really hope we're going there.
I definitely think we might go there on Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Because, he dipped out, and he didn't come back at the end. He dipped out. He quit. So, and I want to know if we're going to get a reference or a flashback to the North. Y'all know about those comics about Spider-Punk at all?
Please do.
So it's pretty much like same art style, very 90s, 80s British invasion, second British invasion kind of poster art. It's very cool. Yeah. But Norman Osborn is the president of the United States, and he's under the influence of Venom. And at the end of this storyline, in order to get these symbiotes separated from Norman, Hobie decapitates this man with a guitar.
Dude, that's so badass.
I know, right? I was like, Oh my god!
I
mean,
loved Hobie.
yeah, Hobie
And
I love him.
I didn't think I was gonna like him because I thought what they were setting him up as was like this back and forth like rivalry between him and Miles.
Yeah.
When I was like, this is gonna be stupid. I don't want to see two guys fighting over a woman. That's gonna take away from the movie. And they didn't do it. Like Miles had a little bit of like insecurity about it, but honestly, when shit came to actual like to hit the fan, the only person who was there for Miles wasn't his friends who knew him. It was Hobie. Hobie
gave him the strength, dude. Hobie gave him the strength, and that was a real good part. I loved his character so much, and the actor that plays him too is amazing. He's been in a lot of Black Mirror episodes. He was in Get Out as well.
He was in Black Panther. He was in Nope. I mean, Daniel is so fantastic. Now, I will say, because I know we don't need to do a whole segment on this, but I want to say that I get the vibe that with his thing with Gwen, I don't know if there's any threat that there's a romantic interest there. I kind of get the vibe Hobie's queer. I kind of very get the vibe that Hobie's queer.
I would love that. Yeah. I would absolutely love that in the series. He's just too cool. He's either that or he's too cool to have like anybody, you know?
Someone pointed out that when he's close to Miles, he turns pink, like his whole like color. Because like his colors change sometimes. Sometimes he'll just be black and white, and then other times he'll be in color. Like it's all over the place, and it's awesome.
It is. It's so dope.
Oh my gosh! If that were to become reality, Jay, mark this day right here. Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
With buttons on them. I mean,
I also love that before we got into the multiversal threat, like they set up Spot pretty much right away, and we got to know what Gwen was up to right away. But as soon as we see Miles, we're seeing him struggle with what every Spider-Man deals with, balancing being a hero and lying to those that he cares about to protect them. And it's making him struggle in school, despite the fact that he's smart, which we saw in Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2, I believe, when he was in college, and he's flunking classes despite the fact that he's a genius, because he's got bigger stakes that he can't tell people about. And then we got the interaction with his parents and Gwen, which was awkward.
So awkward. I loved this internal struggle that they've definitely come up with. I mean, that's a huge thing, and I feel like they made it even more apparent in this one how much he struggles and how tough it is to be a superhero. Everyone thinks it's awesome, but dude, like, what's going on?
Yes, I agree. I really like Brian Tyree Henry as Aaron, or Jefferson as his dad.
Yes.
I've loved the first one, and I like the two Marvel properties. I like that Marvel's kind of got their hands on them. They're like, we like them, so I get to see.
Tell me your butts didn't clench up when Gwen, when you're finally realizing like Miles is in the wrong universe, and like Gwen. When Gwen is like in the same house or whatever, and she's like, you think something's gonna happen, but you don't know what's gonna happen, and then all of a sudden, like, they hint to their Miles being in the wrong universe, and all of a sudden, like, I have chills right now, y'all.
Yeah. Because you think that there's like an emotional moment where she's hearing him like confess to his mom that he is Spider-Man. And we get that moment that it's real for Miles. We know that Miles is at that place now, and that's still beautiful. Like, it being the wrong mom doesn't take away from that moment. No, we think that she's hearing it and that this is going to be a nice little kind of happy ending, and then no, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. And speaking of that scene, was it, who else was in this that I freaked out? Oh, Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg?
You didn't know this?
He's one of the characters.
The muscled Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he is so funny in this movie.
There were so many good. When I finally figured out that the Spot was Jason Schwartzman, I was like, who is that? But
the best.
I remember, dude. I remember Jason Schwartzman being the villain in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And that immediately was like, oh yeah, I remember his bad guy voice.
He's one of my favorites. I think he's great.
I'm very interested to see what they do with the Spot and what's gonna happen. Is he gonna come back? Like what is going on, guys?
Did you notice how he kind of looks like the graffiti? Have y'all seen
Yes,
that?
yes.
He looks like the No Expectations graffiti that Miles drew.
Literally, like, someone paused it in the moment where he walked forward when he had turned all dark, and it literally is side by side.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, it was, they knew where they were going with this from the very beginning.
Yep.
Even establishing, like, down to Miles's relationship with his uncle, and then we get the parallels of him, like, trying to convince his uncle, who he thinks is the Prowler in this universe, to, you don't want to be the Prowler. Which, by the way, can we talk about that shot of him punching the punching bag? That was sick.
And as much as I was very happy to see, because I was listening to Aaron at the end, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Mahershala Ali. And I was like, did they cheapen out and just get Donald Glover to record these since he was already there? No, they brought Mahershala Ali back for literally 2 minutes. I was like, okay, I appreciate it. He's one of my favorites. So
I also love the art style when, like, we had those tense moments of Miles trying to act like he is that Miles, and you just see Uncle Aaron just kind of glancing over at him, like the way they did him walking through the door. Like, I don't know the names of the animators on this movie, but whoever you are, you were the rock stars.
But like, listen,
the Lego animator who animated that Lego.
The Lego one. Yes. They put every beautiful animation style they could. And this is, I think, why I love this movie the most as well, is because, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's just bringing all of the good genres together into such beautiful harmony. Like, everything can be fine. We don't need to be all separated. This can all just be one blended, like, look at Donald Glover in an animation. Like, what?
That is exactly how I feel, because and a lot of people make this comparison with the movies, but Multiverse of Madness. That was not a Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
This is a Multiverse of Madness. And the thing about it is, what they should have done in a live action movie is exactly what Dee just said. Multiverse in film should be different universes that represent genres. That's how it, and so that it's a literal blend of all, not just art styles, cinema styles, fighting styles, tone.
And having different actors portray characters. Like, they didn't just make the voice actor for Miles voice Miles Morales in Earth 4042.
It's a totally different actor.
It's a totally different voice actor.
I didn't know that, really? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, different versions can have different voice actors. I mean, down to the regular Peter Parker Spider-Mans. We got Peter B. Parker and the other Spider-Mans. Like, it's so, they do everything so right.
Oh, Wade from The Boys is Peter Parker in the opening scene. He's Gwen's Peter Parker, the lead in The Boys, Huey.
Really?
Yeah. Wow, dude.
He's Gwen's Peter Parker. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I love that.
Yes.
I also love that in the chase scene, which, by the way, do you guys think Miles knew what he was doing? I want to say Miles knew what he was doing when he's making every Spider-Man come after him.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe?
I think it was luck for a lot of it, but
yeah.
I do think by the end, I think he did have a plan. And I think during this chase, I think was thinking about what to do at the same time, but it kind of just like worked out at the end. Look at
just the pile of Spider-Man. Well, we got some obscure, like, actual comic references, and I only know this because I dive into TikTok, and like 2 years ago, I remember someone talking about random obscure Spider-Man that exist, and one that was brought up was the T-Rex Spider-Man, which actually there's more heroes than just the T-Rex Spider-Man. There's lots of T-Rex superheroes within that universe.
There's a T-Rex Venom. There is Quavertooth the Tiger. There is My favorite is Normana Storman, who is the Green Goblin pterodactyl. It's freaking great. It's so great.
Then we had Cat Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like, they brought in everything. And I honestly, whoever is listening to this, if you're like a deep, obscure comic book person and you know like random obscure Spider-Man things, what Spider-Man did they not bring into this that we think will be in the Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Tom Holland.
That's my question.
Oh my gosh, dude. There was a lot in here. Who did you say, Jay?
Tom Holland. I think I don't know that there's any excuse to exclude Tom Holland from the third one.
I agree.
Wow.
I think I've heard multiple people say that the title of the third one absolutely confirms that we're ending with a live-action Miles. Beyond the Spider-Verse, he's leaving what he knows.
And
oh my God, guys.
also that goes back to the whole thing, like the moment his mom, oh my God, no.
What?
Okay, I have a horrible fan theory.
Oh Lord.
I think you're right. I think he is going to become a live-action Miles Morales because I think there's going to be nothing left for him in his universe. I think not only is he going to lose his dad, I think he might lose his mom. Because why would they end it with him not being able to talk to his mom? That last conversation he had with his mom where she was telling him that he needs to make sure he knows he is enough no matter where he is, that's good, like, last advice.
Oh, I have chills, guys.
I want to be wrong.
The first place that Jonathan or the Spot went at the end was Miles' Prime Universe, was 48.
He's going to take everything from him.
Yep. And
literally.
Yes, yep.
So how will Miles get to Beyond the Spider-Verse, though?
I guess Gwen and all of her Spider Squad are gonna have to go get him.
This is
I need to like
Again, what if
take that in.
Miles isn't as evil as we think he is, and he ends up on their team? Although I do think the only way to right the wrongs is to get him bitten. Is to get Prowler Miles in some contact with a spider, and then everything should sort itself out.
Which they can do. I mean, they have made.
If Miles' spider was from another universe, why
Yeah.
can't Miles' spider be from another universe? Maybe that's how they fix it, is that Miles' canon event in every universe is that he's specifically bitten by a spider from another reality.
I am blown away right now.
I think Miguel is going to learn that he's wrong, that things don't, like, him, Miles didn't do anything in the first movie to put himself in a situation where he should be bitten. Like, that was all happening by fate.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Sure.
Miguel puts that pressure on Miles that, like, it's Miles's fault that all these multiversal things are happening. But what if it was always meant to happen? Or, like we said earlier, there's someone above Miguel that's pulling some larger strings. I mean, they tell us that this is the web of life in this scene, but exactly, that's what I was about to say, because I have not watched the animated Spider-Man movies or animated Spider-Man TV show since I was a kid, but I remember Madam Web, and anything to do with the web of life, Madam Web was right there.
All right. Wait, whoa. Fill me in on who Madam Web is. Is she like she's like a dark?
Well, she's good. She's a hero, and she sits at the center of the web of life and destiny, which is what the Spiderverse is specifically the web of life and destiny. Any universe with a Spider-Man in it is connected through this web. But she is at the center. She watches it all. She purveys it all. So, just like Brian said, it would only make sense that the person above the elite, and which I'm going to get to something else in a minute, would be Madam Web. But also notice that each member of the 4 big Spider Society leaders, not a one of them is Peter Parker, and in the comics, not a one of them's origin story involves being bitten by a radioactive spider. Miguel O'Hara is transfused with spider DNA. Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, is a clone Spider-Woman was experimented on by the High Evolutionary, and I don't know, Gwen, I guess, is the fourth one that I saw, but she wasn't bitten. So, not a one of them has the origin story that he says you need to have.
I am so interested by this. Oh, you guys just expanded this movie even more for me.
Not a one of them has the traditional origin story. So how does his logic work?
I think he believes it, though. Like, the way Miguel presents himself, I think he thinks is the web of life, and I genuinely think he believes that if he does not make sure that Miles's dad dies in the moment he's supposed to die, that it could affect the fabric of the universe. But that doesn't mean that he's right. Like, take in Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange has this vast knowledge, or not even vast knowledge, just limited knowledge of the multiverse, but thinks he knows more than Spider-Man.
Right.
And he has this is the way things got to be. And Spider-Man says, I don't think so. That's not morally right. That doesn't sit right with me. And he goes against it and ends up being right in the end. I think Miles is right too, saying, no, this is just wrong. I'm not going to sit by and do nothing. I have to do something. I think he's right.
I love that.
I think Miles is right in that aspect, that he can't just, and that he doesn't have to let it happen. But this movie, unlike No Way Home, made a point to show us what happens when you stop it from happening.
In the Indian Spider-Man universe.
When he stops from dying, the black goo starts to seep in. So I don't know that he's completely wrong.
What if someone orchestrated that, though?
I mean, fair.
Why? Like, okay, let's just think for a second. If no one's using a collider, the way that it happens right after he saves him, that collider event kind of happens underneath of them, but no one activated a machine. But what if someone in another universe has decided that person has to die right then and there, and when it didn't happen, they decided to start destroying the reality of that, or the fabric of that reality?
Well, that's a possibility.
Wowzers.
But who? I mean, again, then you would have to think who that would be. And again, we haven't seen Lila. That's true.
Right. I really
oh my god!
Why is this AI have a name if they're barely on screen? We don't see a lot about them, but they're important. There's got to be something there. I don't know.
It's true. Lila, she's the AI. She definitely was interesting, and I definitely wanted to see more of her as well. So I feel like a lot of the people are gonna. Oh my gosh, dude! I am just so excited for this Beyond the Spider-Verse already.
Amazon, like I said, is doing Spider-Man Noir, but they're also doing Silk, which is the show about a spider character, and the subtitle of that show is called Silk Spider Society. So, I mean, I would imagine that they're straight up connecting it to a live action anchor, so that they eventually go there. So,
I wish that all of these could.
Movie.
Yeah, that's true. That could be linked to it.
To connect it right there. We have to see it. I think Brian's onto something with his Web of Life and Destiny thing, because that movie's coming out. It just makes sense.
Also, the fact that it's the Web of Life is like a physical thing in the multiverse, whereas when they bring it up, it's like an algorithm. It shouldn't be an algorithm, and the algorithm is determined by Lila. So if we've decided that we think the algorithm is wrong, then the person behind that algorithm has to be the one masterminding the evil plot.
Well, and we saw as well that Lila can kind of control those things, because she pause for a second when Miles was trying to get back or destroy something, but she made the pause of should you go, should you not? What am I thinking of here?
It's
Miles
escaping my brain right now.
Miles got all the way to the universe that he was trying to get to, and then like for 2 seconds the AI is like looking at him like, okay, and she like sees him, but then for like a split second she kind of like hesitates to not send him there, but then he ends up going because she hesitates. Did I just see that? Was that just me?
No, that could be.
Was that Margot? Was that Spiderbite and not Lila?
Oh, I might be thinking of the AI who controlled it all. Am I thinking of the wrong one?
I think you're thinking of the Spider-Man who uses the virtual reality thing.
Spider-Bite.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about. I have a little clip.
Okay.
I have a little clip of Miguel and Lila, and I'm going to bring it up for a different point, though. Different theaters have gotten slightly different moments, and if you watch this clip carefully at the end, she goes on one version. She takes a selfie with Miguel, and in another version, she goes for a fist bump. And these are two versions of this scene that were released in theaters.
Nah, you gotta say it first.
Call for backup.
What?
Call for backup.
Come on.
Please just call for...
Yeah, I already called her. But I enjoyed that.
Like, they did that on purpose.
Why?
I'm not sure why. That just blows my mind even further of what even is real.
I like that. I like that. I think I definitely got the selfie one, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, I got the selfie one too. But some people got the fist bump, and I'm like, huh, why change that? And we know Marvel doesn't do anything completely on accident, so...
I do want to say, since we were just talking about Spider-Bite and the AI, that machine, the Go Home machine...
The Go Home machine, that's what it was.
That goopy, organic, robot spider thing is. I don't like it. It made me very uncomfortable. It was, it was like this weird living thing that came out of the cave up at the top, and I was like, what? That's
it was like stretching the things. Yeah, it was creepy. It was creepy.
But I just love stuff like that. That looks so, I don't know, it was really cool.
And then it sent him to where his spider DNA was from, not from where he was from.
Yeah.
It's literally linked to their spider DNA, not them.
Because the web of life and destiny is only connected through spiders. It's not at all shit. Like, if you have a Doctor Strange in your universe, but not a Spider-Man, you're not part of the web of life and destiny. Only universes with Spider-Man. Yep. So it's literally its own separate multiverse.
This is so cool, guys.
But see, that's another point we got to bring up. They did show us the web of life and destiny and confirm that it exists. But Miguel did show, one for one, a sacred timeline tree. He did pull up the blue and white sacred timeline from the MCU. He did. So it's still like they're saying, yes, this is its own multiverse, but because we're mentioning things that happen here, it is connected to this one as well.
I also love that. I love this the back and forth between Sony and Disney, because I really feel like they don't communicate on things, like when they stole Vulture from the MCU and put him in the Sony universe.
That. I was just getting ready to say, this movie confirms that was not Sony overstepping boundaries. They were doing their own thing. Because this movie confirms that the particle accelerator was grabbing villains from other universes and throwing them. It wasn't the home spell that sent Michael Keaton to the Morbius universe. It's the particle accelerator.
But they also do a jab where they call the MCU, which Kevin Feige claims is 616, but a lot of people have named Earth 199999999 or whatever, and Miguel calls it that when he references Doctor Strange and Nerdy Spider-Man.
It's like they're like, you can do this, but don't do this. And Sony's like, yeah, but we're going to do it anyway. So But don't tell me.
Listen, Disney owns way too much, okay? Just let this be its own flippin' thing, please. Just
Well, that's the thing, though. Sony's trying to make themselves more connected to that, and I don't think that Disney wants to be connected to them, but they should.
Sure.
Like it's the multiverse. Just say it's all connected.
shit.
I'm unapologetic.
But I can't even like the music that played over when we had Miles Morales Prowler come down. Like that was just such a cold moment.
Yep.
Like down to his mask coming off.
Oh my gosh, that's such a badass. Like,
And then
I was freaking out.
there's also a parallel to the first movie. He's literally tied to a punching bag.
Yep.
And we saw that doesn't really work out when you tie a Spider-Man to a punching bag. So I think very early on in the next movie, we're going to see him escape from that.
He's gonna have learned. Yes, absolutely.
But also, like, Prowler putting his claw, like, on his shoulder. Like, I don't know if that's, like, an intimidation move or I'm trying to figure you out. Maybe we can work together move. Like, figuring out his motivations from that small scene is very difficult to do.
I personally would be pretty dang upset if somebody that looked like me showed up, and I know I don't have a twin. So, I mean, he'll be good. He's just like, what the hell do you want?
But he knows he's from a different multiverse because he mentions that. But he doesn't see them as the same person though, because he says your dad is still alive, not our dad. He says your dad is still alive. So that also sets a point that he sees himself as someone completely separate than that person.
That's got to be the key. You might be onto something there, because what if we find out that they're not as connected as we think they are, and that the individual things that happen, just like if I met somebody else in another reality that looked like me, his mother would not have the same memories with him that mine have with me. They are not. That's not my mom. That's his mother.
Right.
It really
Doppelganger.
doesn't work that way.
Right.
So, I think Miguel is like Super Nazi. He's going around telling everybody, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I also think that he's not who he says he is. We're going to find out that he is breaking every rule that he says everybody else has to follow. Because this is going to be a narrative about the government, just like everything is. So I'm telling you, he's going to be like not bitten by a spider. He's going to be some dude that was there by accident, just like Miles. It's gonna be.
He comes at him with aggression, like he wants to kill him.
That was crazy.
So hard. I'm telling you, Miguel is an anomaly. He is projecting. He literally went and lived in somebody else's universe for years. He's an anomaly. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Lots of hot takes happening over here, and I absolutely love it. Can we talk about really quick Gwen's whole situation? I loved getting a little more into her reality and her background story as a person who's not really into the Spider-Man verse as much as Jay and the Beard are. Again, I really loved seeing Gwen Stacy and her dad issues and kind of where she came from too. What did you think, Beard?
I love Spider-Gwen, and seeing, honestly, the thing I focus on the most when we're in her universe is how much, and she mentions this when she's talking with Miles when they're all like upside down, but it looks right side up.
Such a good scene.
Yes. Oh, her like doing the whole like walk around and like the camera tilts with her. That was beautiful.
So cool. I have chills again.
They can relate to each other so much because they both have dads that are cops. Dads that one's going to be a captain, one was going to be a captain or is.
Yes.
He resigned. But anyways, they have pretty much the same story, but they also have such a different life. And she just wants to be herself, be a hero, while her dad has that very narrow-minded cop view of this is the way things have to be.
Right.
Or can I? say something?
Go ahead.
I just don't want to step out. I didn't know if you were done. I really appreciate, like I told you guys earlier, that this universe that we do spend quite a good time in for like 15 minutes of the opening act is gorgeous. It's lifted straight from the comics. And I love how they use the world around them to show their emotions. When she hugs her dad and the pink light starts him, it is gorgeous. Are you watching Righteous Gemstones this season, Brian? Have you seen the new episode?
I didn't know there was new episodes, but
there's new episodes.
Thank you
yeah.
for telling me that.
It comes again tonight. But Shea Wiggum, who plays the race car driver, in the first episode of this season, he is her dad. And he's also been in Joker and countless other things. And he always plays a cop pretty much, so, But I thought that because what we know about George Stacy, if you're a general audience member, is that Dennis Leary played him in 2012 and he died fighting the lizard. But this showed you that he can. They've given the parental arc. I don't know what you're hiding from me, and also the fact that he absolutely deplores Spider-Gwen, but adores his daughter.
And even when he finds out that she is Spider-Woman or Spider-Woman or Spider-Girl.
It's Spider-Woman. I think she's Spider-Woman, but like right now they're calling her Ghost Spider. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I think she was always Spider-Woman.
Even when he finds out her identity, he pushes her away because of the whole cop mentality. And that is just so cold. And of course he comes to regret it because he loves her, but the fact that was his initial response, that puts her, when she left the universe, she left feeling like she had nothing left there.
That was such a deep moment, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's just go, girl. Just go.
I mean, I can imagine that you see your daughter leave through a portal with these other people that have the eye shape and everything. You realize that she's part of something much bigger than you are.
Right.
And I think that's really what drove him to resign, is that he sat there and realized at the end of the day, she does save people. And at the end of the day, this seems like this is way more important than me and what I do. And he did that for her. And it was just, today dads in movies are kind of a joke. And I just really appreciated the dad that I would have wanted.
I agree.
It was just great seeing a parental figure. And both of them, Jefferson and him, they are both fantastic parental figures. And being able to say I love you to your son is 10 out of 10. I love the first movie's bit right with that police car. It's the best scene in the movie. I love it. Yeah.
I am a Spanish individual. I'm half Spanish, so Miles and his family are such. It's just such a chef's kiss of Hispanic culture, just always needing to, I don't know, having that struggle of wanting to do good in school, but also having parents that really love you, man, overbearingly sometimes. I really, really loved and enjoyed seeing all the Spanish culture and even a little bit of Spanish music in there too. Loved the soundtrack, dude. Oh.
Did you see when she snaps at him in the office? Have you seen the little where they zoom in and the finger looks like the Puerto Rican flag? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I was like, this, because that isn't that. I don't want to be wrong, but that is his heritage, right?
Yes, I think he's Puerto Rican.
Okay,
it's either that or Dominican. No, I think he's Puerto Rican. I think you're right.
It's the flag that has the blue triangle and the white star and the red stripe. Is that?
I think that's. I think that's Puerto Rican.
I don't want to be insensitive or say the wrong thing, so I just...
No, you're good. But I really, really love just that whole aspect to it. What were we gonna say, Beard?
And it's referenced in there when his parents are talking about what they think Spider-Man is, that he says he thinks that Spider-Man, there was a TikTok that was talking about the parallels between the differences between the two Miles, and that he said to his dad or his mom that he thinks that Spider-Man could be Dominican, and then the voice actor for the other Miles is, and so like that's like a hidden thing in there. I gotta find the TikTok that talks about it because they explain it much better. But
the voice actor from the PS4 game.
No, from the other Miles,
the actor of Earth 48,
or Prowler Miles. Yes,
okay.
The voice actor for him.
And yes, I just looked it up. He's Puerto Rican. I'm so glad that I looked that
Good.
up. So.
Yeah. It's a tough flag.
No, I am the first person to admit I'm not as educated on a lot of things as I should be, but I'm always looking to learn, and I always want to be educated. So,
love it. Yeah, no, this movie was just incredible. I think me and the Beard talked about for like 2 seconds the bear not wanting to see this in theaters and waiting for it to go out of theaters and stuff, and I'm like, this is one movie that
I think he just
wasn't able to.
Yeah.
It's just so.
He's got a lot going on.
Oh, for sure. It's just, this is one movie that I feel like it's beneficial to watch in theaters because it's just so beautiful.
Yes.
Just gorgeous.
I don't have the need to want to see a movie in theaters more than once, but after I saw this in theaters, I was like, I want to go see it again. I have only seen it once in theaters, but I want to see it in theaters again with like full loud sound, not having to worry about my neighbors being like, turn your volume down.
It's just so beautifully made too, and I can just appreciate all of the art to go along with it. The soundtrack's been like bumping in my head like since I saw it.
Yep.
My only complaint, and this comes with a compliment, I love the fighting scenes throughout this whole movie. Like, the fighting is exciting to watch. Except for when he's fighting the Spot. I can't keep track of who's winning and who's actually getting in a blow. It's so all over the place. And that's the point, but it's like, who is doing what right now?
It's like Transformers. No, I'm kidding. I am so glad that this is an animation, because I can guarantee you that the Spot would never translate in a live action movie. The only way that he could do it is like they do it in this, when he pops into the Venom universe, just for that, from that brief second, and
I forgot about that. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Somebody else has pointed out how, the gum is called Venomint, Brock's Venomint, and so we know in the main universe he doesn't really market himself as a hero, so therefore it must not be the exact same reality. But
I am blown away.
Again, that just sounds like Sony. We're gonna kind of give it to you, but not really give it to you.
My headcanon is the real universe.
Oh, no. I just thought it was, I think, y'all, this is a goofy fan service moment. Just let it happen. Don't overanalyze it. Please. But yeah. And Venom 3 starts shooting this week, so look forward to that.
I didn't know they were doing a Venom 3.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch Ted Lasso, Brian?
What?
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I don't have Apple TV,
okay,
so no.
Did you watch that show?
I did not watch Ted Lasso.
You seem like the perfect person for
I know. That's what people have told me to.
I've heard a lot of people who I trust to tell me like good things to watch that have said good things about it. So I have no doubt that I would love Ted Lasso, but I've never seen it.
Best show on streaming television. It's really that good.
Wowzers.
Yeah. I watch a lot of streaming TV too, and I watch a lot of HBO. But Ted Lasso, it's HBO I watch to feel like dark and sad, but Ted Lasso brings me right out of it. So
okay.
Yeah, it's super, super positive. But yes, one of the actresses from that show is in Venom 3, which is why I brought that up. But that movie, I'm very looking forward to see if that connects to this now. If go into the Spiderverse.
I guess my last question for you guys would be, do you have any like expectations for Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Yes, but like not that I can name. I just hope it's like great. I have like huge expectations, but not like this is gonna happen.
It is crazy because right before I saw Across the Spider-Verse, I saw Into the Spider-Verse, and right as I was going to the movie theaters, I was like, how on earth can they make such a beautiful movie even more incredible? Like, no way this is going to be subpar. But I think they have enough good writers and enough good animators that this is going to be, like I said, a Return of the Jedi. It's going to be a good ender, a good perfect trilogy saga. I do have high expectations for this next one since this one was so freaking good. Like,
yeah,
I think it's going to blow our minds, but I also have a strong feeling that we should bring tissues to the third one.
oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we're going to have some hard deaths.
I have noticed
Wow.
a trend recently in media that shows and TV or shows and movie trilogies franchises that usually have a light and happy positive tone in their final installments tend to totally flip that on its head. Ant-Man kind of started to do it. It didn't completely do it, but it got darker. Guardians for sure did it.
Sure.
Spider-Man trilogy
did it. The Spider-Man trilogy did it. This movie, as much as these are real and have high stakes, I really do expect it to be a much darker movie. I also expect it to maybe just, like Dee said, I expect it to elevate it again. And you mentioned Return of the Jedi, and I feel like this could do even more than Return of the Jedi did and be better than this one.
Yeah, sure.
Return of the Jedi is certainly the least of the original trilogy.
Right.
But I would love it if this one breaks the mold and we go from good, better, best. Like, great, better, best. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It just keeps getting better. Because it might have the potential to get stale. Because we have so much multiverse going on right now.
True.
I have not been burned out from multiverse yet, just saying. Like, as long as it's telling a good story and it's not just relying on shock value for, oh my god, look what's in this universe. Oh my god, look what's in this universe. As long as the story's good, I think it just kind of adds to it.
Everything Everywhere All at Once really restored my faith towards the end of the first phase of multiverse movies.
Agreed.
That refreshed me and was like, okay. And No Way Home, like I said, got really campy for me. And The Flash is really, really campy.
Sure.
But like Brian said, we don't want something that's just relying on fan service and shock value.
Right.
You want something that tells a story. And I think these movies are the ones that are doing it above all the other ones trying to do the multiverse. I think Spiderverse has that formula nailed down. And this isn't a spoiler, but when you end The Flash, it says written by Christina Hodson. And I looked over at my mom and I said, no, it wasn't. They just kept Phil Lord and Christopher Miller's script that became Spiderverse, because you can tell. You can tell that it is very nearly the same story.
Wow.
There are beats that feel super similar, and it's like, oh wow. And they come out like 2 weeks apart, a month apart.
I will say, as movie standards go, this has definitely elevated what animation needs to be and what it could be. So many Pixar movies are going trashy now because they're kind of just doing the same animation, and kids love it. But for people who still want to be in animation and who still love animation, I want to see what it can do. I want to see things pushed to the limit. And I'm a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, and Avatar: The Last Airbender is coming out with an animated movie, so I'm very excited to see if they're
doing movie, an animated movie.
They are going to start an Avatar-verse as well, and they're doing an Avatar movie that has to do with the gang, not quite as adults, but as kind of
alongside the live action Netflix series.
This is separate.
But they're releasing alongside each other, essentially.
I wouldn't say that. I think the Avatar animated one is going to take a few more years. I think this Netflix one is going to drop pretty soon. But they jumped ship off that Netflix one because they want to make more of an Avatar verse situation. But all that being said, the animation to Avatar has always been very nice and stuff, but I want to see, and they're huge fans of the Spider-Verse as well, so I want to see if they can match this kind of energy. You know, maybe not so chaotic, but
Ninja Turtles is doing it.
Ninja Turtles, yes. So
Seth
excited
Rogen.
for that one.
Yes. Oh, yes. Cannot wait.
I'm keeping my expectations for the live action Avatar low, but I did not know that they were doing another animated one, and that gives me high expectations because
for sure.
I resisted watching Avatar Korra for a long time because it just seemed like why would I care about this? And then I got into it and I binged the heck out of it.
It gets good.
Korra is a really good show.
Yeah. Facts.
And I feel like if the same people put that same love into that universe for another animated show, I think it could be just as good. Absolutely.
This is the thing that Jay said earlier too. These types of shows like Korra have the potential to be kid shows, but there are some dark themes that go along with it that hit more close to adult themes. Korra hits, depression and mental health and stuff. Even Avatar: The Last Airbender deals with genocide, mass genocide, and all this other stuff. But it can be geared towards kids, like Across the Spider-Verse has been. Kids fucking love Miles Morales, dude. Kids love this whole Spider-Verse. They love the music to go along with it. That gives me a whole other hope of, dang, animation. Like, I loved animation as a kid. X-Men animated series, Batman animated series, Spider-Man animated series, all of these awesome animated series got me to where I love comics and animation. To see kids now have that same thing with this glorious, magnificent piece is just like amazing to me. So
I would kill for a Batman movie like this.
Oh my god, just imagine, first movie Prowler, and even that last scene we got with Prowler, put that as Batman. Chills.
Ooh, yeah.
Dude.
That would be badass.
Again, people say you can't do characters like Clayface and Killer Croc in live action, but you could do them like this.
That's what I'm saying. They don't
imagine.
Get back into animation.
Yes,
that's all it is.
A theatrical Batman movie that is animated.
And don't get me wrong, I love this Robert Pattinson one, that just came out. But you can do so much with animation. It's limitless. It's limitless with it all. I need it. I fully agree with you guys. I fully need a Batman style Across the Spider-Verse situation.
Yep, and Turtles too, like Ninja Turtles specifically, and what they're doing with that. I feel like that world could be, because it looks just kind of dingy and kind of grimy.
So excited.
And the cast, like that's another thing you have to hit with movies like these is you've got to get a great cast, and imagine what they could do with Batman. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yep.
Well, I don't have much more to talk about this movie. Any other last thoughts you guys have?
Go see this movie if you haven't.
Go see it if you haven't. Before, if your local theater's playing it still, go see it, please. Yeah. It is so good.
It's just so good, yeah.
I'm not sure what our next episode is going to be. There's a possibility that Jay and I may do a Flash episode, also without Bear, because he's not sure when he's going to see that. I haven't seen the Flash yet. I still have yet to see it, but if I see it soon, Flash could be coming up. I know we've talked Mandalorian, so we got lots of stuff coming up.
Wowzers.
Jay, do you have anything coming up with Squatch Talk?
As of right now, it's kind of just gone to written stuff. Blog posts. I'm always posting from my letterbox when I can. My Flash review is up, but it is a spoiler review, so do not read it if you have not seen the movie. I talk a lot about it, and it's and I would love to, like you said, do an episode with you on that because I am itching to talk about it. Specifically, the latter half of that movie is just there's so much to talk about.
I'm so excited. I've heard. So you can tell I'm a Flash fan. I love Flash.
Everybody's like, this movie's flopping because of its lead, and I'm like, you can say that, but despite everything that they did, Barry Allen's pretty dang cool in this movie. I'm sorry, Barry Allen kind of rocks. Ezra Miller may not rock, but Barry Allen kind of rocks.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find Denise at Monday Cinema Club. I pop in there every now and then.
Sure do. Thank you.
Love to see that. I need to actually watch some of the movies you suggest because I'm sure that they're good movies. The only one that I watched that you suggested was the desert one. What was that?
Oh, Adventures of Priscilla.
Yes.
Queen of the Desert.
Love that.
Priscilla?
Yeah. Oh, where were you, Jay? That would have been a good one.
I love that, and I love the musical.
Yes. So, I host an IG Live every 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Instagram Live, and we talk about movies every Monday with our boy Dante Bosco, who is obviously Rufio from Hook, and Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and his wonderful fiance / talented, beautiful lady in general, Alice Rahmatullah. But we have also a podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you guys stream. Find it at Monday Cinema Club. Follow us. And we're going to be doing some summer bangers here pretty soon. So, get in the mix on that one. It's going to be some good times. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to chat with you guys again. We're going to get out of here. I've been the Beard.
I have been Nerdsquatch.
And we want to remind you, as always, to stay awesome, stay bearded, and much love.
Much love.
See you guys next time.
Boom, cut the check.
That was totally wicked!
Thanks for checking out another Bearded Bear Entertainment production. New episodes of this show are released every other Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, in both audio and video format. Audio episodes are available pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, and YouTube is the only place for video format.
For listeners, subscribe on your app so your device downloads it automatically, and for viewers, subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified about all our new nerdy content. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials.
Facebook,
Instagram, and
TikTok
are all great places to interact with us.
Many thanks to the rest of our team, all of our geeks of the round table, and all of our awesome friends of the cast. Much love, y'all. Lastly, for more cool music like this awesome outro track, go check out HarlequinSoul, Secret Apex on Facebook and Spotify. His links are in the description as well.
Talk at you next episode, nerds.
See you then!